Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com, and today I'm going to show you how to do the Santa Claus box. I posted this up on my Facebook this week and my blog, I believe, and it was a post from 2007 when I made these boxes for the first time. And I had several requests from people to show them how to make it. So that's what I'm going to do today. And to begin with, I'm just going to show you what I did with my punches, and then we'll get into the top note die. But to start with, for Santa Claus, you are going to need one of the 7/8 inch scallop punch. I think I'll just put those up there for now. Two of the 1/2 inch circle punch. A blushing bride and two whisper white. There's two of them there. 1 inch circle punches. 3 of these scallop punches. 1 of the oval punch, and 1 of the 3/4 inch circle punch. So that's the punching to begin with. And then as far as the top note die goes, you're going to come in with your top note die, which is just this great die from Stampin' Up. And I thought I'd set out here what I needed. Oh, here they are. I've kind of got a huge mess going on in here. Imagine that. So for Santa, you're going to need, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock. You're going to need a blushing bride, a whisper white, and a real red, and you just stack those all up. You can cut these all at the same time when you're doing this and put them through your Big Shot. And that will cut all of them. Actually, I cut 4 earlier, so you can cut 4 layers. So you're going to go ahead and just remove the 2, just take the whisper white one, and this is how you make the mustache. So once you've cut one end off, and this doesn't really matter. I mean, you need to have it off about this much. That ends up being Santa's beard. But to do his mustache, what you're going to do is move this up. Okay, so this is where it cuts, and you're just going to bring it up to the top of the die, that little point to the top of the die, and then add in your plate. And take that through the Big Shot. And when you come out the other end, you come out with a piece of the mustache. So that cuts the very top. Whatever's up here gets cut off, and that's the mustache. That was probably the hardest bit of this whole production. So what you're going to do is you're going to take all your pieces, and what I did, just to give it a little bit of texture and some dimension, is I took smoky slate and just did a little sponging on all the edges of the white on Santa, except for his eyes. Okay, so you've got that done. You can set those aside. And then you're going to come in with the blushing bride. And this would be his nose. And I just find when I sponge the edges of these, it gives a little bit of dimension. And this would be his eyelid, and I cut that in half. And of course, sponge the edge. Okay, and then what you're going to do on this is his face. I did add a little bit of sponging to the edges here, just to give his cheeks a bit of color. And I don't do the whole thing because this is going to be covered with a hat and that's going to be covered with his beard, but I just like to put a little bit of color onto, you know, I considered these his ears, and so that kind of tells me where his cheekbone's going to be. And then as far as the hat goes, this is the piece for the hat, and all you're going to do is trim off I have to think now. Trim off like that. And I think we can come off more. Like that. Really, that's just a trimming. That's all I did. Okay, and that's good to go. So then what you do is you come back in with Santa's face, and we will add the beard, and you just line up those lines of the top note die. This I actually cut in half. Attach his mouth, kind of where you want it. Attach his mustache. Just make sure that you've got all the mouth covered. That's probably the most important part right there for that. And then his nose. Just gonna go right over that point. And then his eyes. You can see how simple this is. And what I have found is that depending on how you do his eyes, that's what gives him character. Sometimes he looks real droopy and tired, and sometimes not so much. So there's his eyes, and then these are his eyelids. Make sure that you put the sponge side out, and that just lines up right with, see what I mean about his droopy eyes? So it's just a matter of where you put his eyebrows. But just line those up right to the eyes. And there you have Santa's face. And then the hat is going to come in, and you're just going to put some adhesive on the back of that, and then place his hat where you want it. And it doesn't matter if things are, over the edge and stuff, because what's going to happen is then you come in with these scallops, and you kind of cover up the edge of the hat. One on each side and then one in the middle. Like that. And then this part just swings over. And sometimes you might see, like, I'm going to trim this off because I don't want that point. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive there and hold that down. And I personally, I like it to be up a little bit. It's up to you. You can fold it down. And then add the ball of his hat. That's it. That's how you make Santa Claus. It's very simple. I'm going to go ahead and get the supplies ready to do Mrs. Claus, and then I'll show you how to do the box. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do Mrs. Claus now, and this time you start again with a piece of the Blushing Bride top note die. That's her face. You're going to need 3 of the scallops of the scallop punch for her hair, 2 for her collar of her dress, 3 1-inch circles, 2 for her eyes and 1 for her eyelids, 1 of a 3/4-inch circle for her nose, and 2 black eyes. And the last thing that you're going to need for her is her glasses, and I'm going to show you how to make those because it's actually pretty simple. And I'm just using a piece of soft suede. And first you punch out, this is the 1 1/4 punch, and I'm going to punch 2 of those. And then I'm going to come in with the 1 3/8 punch and just line those up along the edge. Hope you can see that. That's how you get her glasses. It's just like those rim, just like a circle rim glass. There you go. So there's her glasses. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your top note die and that pink. And of course, this is Mrs. Claus. So she needs to have rosy cheeks. And she doesn't have a beard, so we might want to do some of the edges just because it gives her such good dimension. Not that this part down here doesn't show anyway, but so there's that. And then you're going to go ahead and sponge her nose. Cut the 1-inch circle in half. That would be her eyelids. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to come in, and I did do a little sponging on her hair. Give her just a tint of gray hair. Okay, so now you've got your pieces. So there's Mrs. Claus, and then we're going to come in and build her up. And so she's got a collar on her dress, which is the scallops. Her nose I'm going to put on with a dimensional because I want to make those eyes, or the glasses of the eyes kind of sit behind the nose a little bit. So figure out where you want her nose. And then her eyes. And again, her personality is going to be different depending on where you put where the eyes are. We won't give her such droopy eyebrows or eyelids. And then her hair, which again, we're just going to go ahead and put some extra adhesive on that one. And then tie a bow. So I just took some of our great cotton ribbon that we have. And we'll tie a little bow. Add that to her hair. Trim up my edge a little bit. This little button's going to go here for her collar. Now I probably should use a glue dot, and I'll probably go back and do that after the video, but I don't have it on me right now. And then these are her glasses. And these just need a little bit of adhesive. And they kind of tuck behind her nose. Like that. So Mrs. Claus is almost ready. The last thing that I did is I just took a marker, and I will use, I guess I'll just use our black I'm going to use the brush end though, and I added a smile. And that was it. Pretty simple. The last thing you might want to do is a little highlight in the eye. This is our chalk pen, and it will actually get darker as it dries, and you'll see in this one on the box here. So there's Mrs. Claus, and then the box is the last thing I'm going to show you, and you're going to come in with a sheet of cardstock, and this is a half a sheet. It's 5.5 by 8.5. You are going to put it into your use your scoring blade. Excuse me. So 4 1/4 is the halfway point. I'm going to score it at 5 1/4 and 3 1/4. That's going to give me a depth of 2 inches on my box there, and then I'm going to score it at 1 1/4 and turn it on this side and score this at 1 1/4. And then, taking a scissor, you're just going to cut this side and this side, and the same thing on this side. And then fold those in. And now on this, I probably would use sticky strip because I want it to stay together, but again, I don't want to pull it out right now. I just want to get this done quickly. So I'm going to add snail. And just how I do it is I hold my box on a flat surface, pull that piece up, pull this piece up, put them together. That's how you get the seam on that side. You're going to do the same thing on this side. I'll add some adhesive, pull this side up, and you can see why I should have used sticky strip. And that's how you make your box that she then, and then I sit it down and I just tape her to it. And that's what's filled with candy canes or candy. So pretty simple, pretty fun. I hope you liked it. Thanks.